Please change radio news. The news read by Tendai Chihota. And now for the headlines. President Chamisa Unity Day statement. Zimbabweans speak on Unity Day. Artuz member sentenced to 10 months. And now for the news in detail. The People's President Advocate Nelson Chamisa has condemned violence, saying it is intolerable. In his 2020 National Unity Day statement, President Nelson Chamisa said, and I quote, "Unity does not mean the absence of difference." He went on to say that there has been an increase in abductions and torture against citizens, including young leaders and activists, and hundreds of MDC leaders are either in detention or on remand facing trumped-up politically motivated charges. President Chamisa also said, and I quote, "Unity does not criminalize diversity and alternative views." The Unity Accord is a product of the unity formed between ZANU-PF and PF-ZAPU in 1987. The ZANU-PF government declared 22 December as Unity Day in 1997. However, many Zimbabweans commented on social media responding to current Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa's tweet. Here are some of the quoted responses to his tweet. Tendai Zinyama tweeted this: "Unity Accord was in actual fact a farce and failure because it was unity by command and cohesion. ZAPU was forced by acts of aggression to surrender to a marriage of convenience where it could not benefit much except share ZANU-PF's surname." Leo Coney tweeted this: "What unity is there when people are killed at 45-degree angle by the military? 2. When the so-called New Republic harasses, abducts, tortures, and incarcerates members of the opposition because it has been challenged. 3. When a journalist is arrested for exposing corruption." Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, Artuz President Mr. Masaraure, has warned the government that his organization will hold continuous protests in Masvingo in solidarity with their member Sheila Chisirimunhu. The judiciary convicted Sheila Chisirimunhu of Artuz and sentenced her to an effective 10 months in prison for participating in a peaceful gathering demanding a salary raise in US dollars. Mr. Obed Masaraure said, and I quote, "This ruling confirms that we are now back to Rhodesia governance. From today until Sheila is released, we will be protesting in Masvingo daily. The evil men and women running our country should know no peace." The following is an audio from MDC Alliance Deputy Spokesperson Honorable Mafa on the passing of Senator Mloyi. Honorable Mafa said, "MDC Alliance is saddened by the sudden death of its heroine, former Senator Agnes Sivanda Mloyi, who was buried at Lady Stanley Cemetery on Sunday, the 19th of December. She was a unifier who believed in the unity of purpose. She died when she was one of President Nelson Chamisa's advisors and wanted to see all opposition parties united. In our culture, we say, the mountain has fallen. The queen who hailed from Filabusi and resided in Luvezi died whilst she was still longing for peace, unity of purpose, progress, tranquility, and devolution. We urge the family to remain united and cry with hope because Mrs. Mloyi was a peacemaker. We are worried that ZANU-PF does not want peace. They want violence. They want to harass women, girls, and all Zimbabweans. She wanted to see women and girls being empowered. She had been a senator for 2 terms, from 2008 to 2018, until she became ill. May her dear soul rest in peace, and we will continue from where she left and stand by what she stood for, which is truth, peace, devolution, Matebeleland, Mashonaland, Manicaland, Mashingo development, and the whole nation. She also stood for the constitutional removal of ZANU-PF.
Matlabe Zulu ngiyadana njalo iphathi yethu idanile le MDC Alliance ethungamelwa ngo-Advocate Chamisa. Silahlekelwe yiheroine u-Agnes Sibanda brackets Mloyi. Ubekwe eLady Stanley ngeSunday yona liviki ephelileyo. Silusizi ngoba into le isijumile njengoba abantu belokhu besabelele abazange bakhalelana. Sizama ukutshela abantu bakwethu ukuthi le impi ethawekazi ithe ngesplit ka-1965 ngesplit ka-1995 yasala ibambe ubulawayo yambamba kwaze kwafika i-unity of purpose. Ngumama ebezimele uze washona ngemkhuhlane enzima ekhona kodwa liqhawekazi leZimbabwe. Laba abantu abanje yiwe sithi ngamaqhawe. Amaqhawe ZANU ngabantu abenza izinto ezimbi, abagongoda abantu, abangalasizi, abangalamoya. Contrary to that, umama uAgnes Sibanda ngumuntu oqoqa imuli yakhe, qoqe isizwe efuna ukubambana esithi ngesikhiwa unity of purpose. Uze wachona engumcebisi omkhulu kubaba uAdvocate Chamisa esithi i-unity of purpose ifanele abantu beZimbabwe bonke babambane ama-opposition parties. Ngokuswela inhlanhla kulamahlongandlebe lokhu ekhothamathe ZANU kodwa uze waphumula esebenza labantu be-MDC Alliance ibandla lethu. Sithi ngesintu intaba idilikile, indlovukazi ephuma kwethu efelabhusi yakhe luveve kobulawayo ize yatshona lokhu idondobezela ifuna i-tranquility, ifuna i-peace, ifuna i-reconciliation, ifuna i-progress, ifuna i-devolution. Ngalokho mahlobo Zulu siyadana ngoba indlovukazi iheroine iqhawekazi lishonile. Ngalokho sifisela imuli yakhe ukuthi bakhale ngokuthula ngenxa yokuthi abalahlekelwa ngabodwa kulahlekela iZimbabwe jikelele. Silapha kobulawayo sidanile ngenxa yokuthi izenzo zonke zeZANU-PF azifuna ukuthula, zifuna ubudlame, zifuna ukuhlukuluza omama, zifuna ukuhlukuluza amankazana, zifuna ukuhlukuluza umuntu wonke omsulwa ofuna idemocracy, ofuna ukuthula. Umama uMrs Mloyi uAgnes Sibanda ngumuntu ofuna ukuthula, ofuna ukuhlala kahle, ofuna i-development, ofuna i-devolution, ofuna omama lamankazana ukuthi babe empowered. Ngumama ngusenator for 2 terms since 2008 kwaze kwafika u-2013. Ngokusweleka kwenhlanhla ngesezwa kuhle yikho lize lathi ilanga eliyisithupha wasishiya ngolesihlanu last week. Ngalokho sithi Mahlabe Zulu kalale ngokuthula, lathi sifeze konke kumele emele iqiniso, emele iMatebeleland development, emele iMashonaland development, emele iMashingo development, emele imanyikal and development, emele isizwe sonke sikamthwakazi lesikamambo ukuthi babambane bakhuphe constitutionally iZANU-PF ehluleka ukunanza amalungelo abantu. Silapha nje inhliziyo zethu zibuhlungu mahlabezulu, sicela ukuthi uNkulunkulu ebele muli yakhe kuze kube la kade. Yimi owenu uFilips Makaleba Pasibanda, ijazi elindizayo. Ngiyabonga.
The UK government has urged the government of Zimbabwe to implement reforms. In an interview, the British ambassador to Zimbabwe, Melanie Robinson, warned Zimbabwe that sanctions would remain in place if Zimbabwean authorities failed to commit to the promises that Mr. Mnangagwa made after a coup in November 2017. Zimbabweans rejected the Mbuya Nehanda statue displayed by the ZANU-PF government as a fake picture of the Nehanda Nyakasikana spiritual medium. This has forced the ZANU-PF government to ask the artist to redo the statue. Zimbabweans publicly criticized the structure of the statue and demanded that it not be displayed as it was disrespectful to Mbuya Nehanda. Other Zimbabweans pointed out that the government could have honored Mbuya Nehanda by rehabilitating the Mbuya Nehanda maternity ward, where a lot of Zimbabwean women have died during childbirth. The majority of Zimbabweans claim that it is lack of priority, considering that more than 8 million Zimbabweans need food aid, hospitals are death traps, civil servants are getting peanuts, road infrastructure is dilapidated, the country is in pain of poverty and state-sponsored abuses, which is against what Mbuya Nehanda and others fought for in the liberation struggle. A Zimbabwean woman and her 2 children lost their lives while trying to cross the Limpopo River. A man who was in the same boat survived the accident. Speaking to Newsroom Africa, Love Mutasa said he was grateful to be alive. The following is an interview with Newsroom Africa.
Now, a woman and 2 children of hers have drowned in the Limpopo River while attempting to cross from Zimbabwe to South Africa. This tragedy unfolded yesterday. Now, undocumented Zimbabwean nationals often cross the river, which is usually dry, seeking greener pastures in South Africa, but the recent rains have made this a life-threatening trip. Itekani Magwete will have more on that story throughout the day.
The journey to a proverbial better life in South Africa ended in a tragedy for a mother and 2 children who lost their lives when their boat capsized. Love Mutasa is just one in 3 of the passengers who survived.
Me, I'm supposed to be dead, but it's good he loves me. Good he loves me, and I'm still alive. And I'm happy about that, because I'm still alive. My money and those things, they're gone, but I'm happy about I'm alive. Those drivers of boats, they're trying to use something like brakes, but the boat doesn't stop and flowing up and going downside.
Undocumented Zimbabweans use homemade boats to illegally cross to South Africa seeking work opportunities. This time, however, the boat capsized meters from the bank.
It was on this riverbank that Love Mo's boat capsized. According to him, they tried to use that tree to help the boat stop, but failed. You can still see his footprints on the sand after his brush with death.
The mother and her daughter were the first to get swept away by the current.
So when the boat going upside down, those kids and the mother, they're going on the river first. And myself following those mother, and 2 others were in front of myself, but they surviving. One of the kids, she screamed, and she's a girl, like simply like that. She crying.
Meanwhile, an Impala Tour Zimbabwean-bound bus on its way from South Africa overturned and 23 passengers have been injured. The cross-border bus was traveling from Johannesburg to Zimbabwe along the N1 highway. More to follow on this story as investigations are still going on. Now on to COVID-19 news. Change Radio can exclusively report that Dr. Ranga, a well-known human rights activist and medical doctor, became one of the early health care workers to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Ranga has been on Change Radio multiple times informing people on the pandemic. Here is what Dr. Ranga said.
Hello, this is Dr. Ranga. I am here in Charlotte, North Carolina in the USA. I am just letting everybody know that I got vaccinated today, COVID-19 vaccine, which was manufactured by Pfizer and BioNTech. I want to encourage everyone, particularly Zimbabweans, to be ready to get vaccinated when the vaccine becomes available. I know that there's a lot of skepticism around the vaccine. There is absolutely no reason to be afraid. I understand that we still have to learn a lot about long-term effects. All of us will only know after a couple of years. But the reason people like myself, physicians, are vaccinated or getting vaccinated is because we realize that there is no other way. Right now, thousands of people are dying across the world, including in Zimbabwe, in the United States of America, in Asia, you name it. So, we do not have a reasonable alternative to the vaccine. The more people get vaccinated, the more we will be able to protect each other against the virus. What we are hoping to achieve is called herd immunity, whereby if you have enough people vaccinated and they are immune, the few who get the disease will not have enough people to spread the disease to. As a result, less people will get infected, those who are not vaccinated or immunized already. So I encourage everyone to think seriously about taking the vaccine. For me, it wasn't even a choice. I didn't have to think about it. Of course, I have to look at the scientific data. Unfortunately, the political environment has been so noisy when it comes to the vaccine and the COVID-19. What I can tell you is that scientists have looked at the vaccine, and based on the information we have so far, there is absolutely no reason that we should think that something amiss happened. Like I said, long-term effects we will only know with time. But the studies done so far are very encouraging. Both the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine have been shown to be 90 to 94% effective. So far, safety has not been an issue in the months that this has been studied. So let's plan to get vaccinated. So ndinokurudzira maZimbabweans kuti tese ngatigadzirire kuitwa vaccination ye-COVID-19 kana vaccine yava available. Right now, USA, United Kingdom vari kuvaccinata vanhu vavo, and kana vaccine yavo available to everyone, which may be sometime next year. And ndinokurudzira kuti maZimbabweans tese ngatiitwe vaccinated. Ma-conspiracy theories atiri kunzwa aya, they are baseless. They are only meant to sow confusion, because the information we have so far, based on my studies, gives us confidence, because we are getting the information from reputable scientists like Dr. Fauci and others. New England Journal of Medicine has looked at my studies, and there is absolutely no reason why we should doubt that this is safe and effective. Thank you very much.
A new COVID-19 strain has been discovered in South Africa. Different strains have also been found in the UK, Iceland, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Over the weekend, travel bans were imposed on South Africa as it was believed that the UK strain was also found there. However, South African health officials and scientists leading the country's virus strategy have said the new variant, known as 501.V2, was different from the one in the UK. MDC Alliance Botswana held an end-of-year party over the weekend. In an audio obtained by Change Radio, MDC Alliance Organizing Secretary Taurai Mavuko said ZANU-PF continues to deny citizens basic rights the same way the Smith government was doing. This is what he said.
Police brutality. There was lack of freedom of expression, freedom of movement, freedom of demonstration. All these characters, we are seeing them in the ZANU-PF government. So we are supposed to challenge the ZANU-PF system today. Not tomorrow, but today. How do we do it? We start by sensitizing our close associates. We all have our relatives in the rural areas.
To end the news, here are the headlines once again. Chamisa Unity Day statement. Zimbabweans speak on Unity Day. Artuz members sentenced to 10 months.